fellow followers. Welcome back to FanZcene. Greg here, and today I have you. Was James Gunn's Superman movie any good? I actually got to see James Gunn's Superman movie yesterday. As in making this video, I got to do the Amazon early screening of it on July 8th, and I was going to do an out of the theater reaction, afterwards, but I had to sit on the movie for a minute because I'm gonna go right up the front. Yes, I like the movie. It's a good movie. It's truly a good movie, and I had fun with it at the theater. I even got my popcorn bucket. This thing is awesome. I love this thing. This is probably one of my new favorite things right here. So I did get my popcorn bucket while I was there. And instead of recording a right out of the theater reaction, I wanted to sit on it a minute and really think about the movie and think about what I want to say, what I liked, what I didn't like, and everything. And there will be no spoilers in this video. I don't want to spoil anything for you guys because I do believe this is a movie that you guys should see for yourself. You should see for yourself and make a judgment for yourself. And I think you should do it on the biggest screen you could possibly see it on because it deserves to be seen in the theaters. Now, what I liked about the movie, I thoroughly enjoyed David Cornsweet as Superman. I think he portrayed Superman as comic book accurately as you can because this movie is a comic booky, probably one of the most comic booky movie I've ever seen. It has a lot of heart to this. Wears its heart on the sleeve. It's just like this Superman, a day in the life of Superman, almost, well, a little more than a day, but it's like that. I thought Rachel, I can't pronounce her last name. I thought she was incredible as Lois Lane. I thought Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor absolutely steals the movie. He's incredible Lex Luthor. Could have used a little more Perry White. I loved Perry White in this movie. Jimmy Olsen was great. The whole supporting cast around Superman was great, and it was just this really fun movie. It really much was like, I know a lot of people have been saying it's sort of like the Saturday morning 90s Superman animated series type cartoon. It's like come to life. Yes, in a way it is. I believe I would put it on that, but also I would say it's also sort of reminded me of a little bit like of a DC AU animated universe when Bruce Timm was still working on the DC animated movies, which I did bring up Superman vs. Elite. It sort of does have a little bit of the vibe of Superman vs. Elite. If you've never seen that, I would recommend that. The movie is fast paced. We jump right into the movie. It starts not like this is a spoiler, but it does start with a little text telling you what's going on in this world. This world really feels lived in. It feels like it's existed. It feels like it's fleshed out, and we get to see Superman in this world, and it starts right off the bat into the action, and the movie just keeps going from there. And I would say, like we discussed on Midnight's Edge After Dark, because I did talk with Tom and the gang over there after we saw the movie. You sort of have to let go of your perceived notions of what you think this movie is going to be. Don't go into this movie think you're seeing a Christopher Reeve style Superman movie. Don't go into this movie think you're seeing a Man of Steel style Henry Cavill type of movie. Don't go into this movie think you're going to see a Brandon Routh or a Dean Cain style Superman or Tyler Hoechlin Superman. It's its own thing, but it's very Superman at the same time. David Cornsweet is great. The story is very fast paced, and some of my complaints, I only have like 3 to 4 complaints, and it does not ruin the movie for me. 2 of my complaints are just me being me, and probably I'm in the minority with 2 of these complaints. I personally did not like Mr. Terrific. I felt like he was chosen to be like, oh, this is going to be the cool character, so we're going to show you how cool he's going to be the cool character, and they didn't allow him to be the cool character. You know what I mean? They didn't allow him to show you that he's a cool character. They're like, it kind of felt like they were telling you he was a cool character. But he was a fun character. I don't know. I didn't really like the stuff with Crypto. I thought that kind of fell flat for me. Some of the comedy with Crypto and stuff. At the end of the day, I was kind of like, can you just get a hold of the dog? And then the third one, which is something that I think a lot of people are going to be upset about, that will maybe divide some people, is I did not like some of the lore breaking elements they did with Superman's parents, Jor-El and Laura. There was a big lore breaking element with that, and I really hope they address that in a sequel or possibly Supergirl and maybe fix that. But that's about all I'm going to say. But other than that, this movie is absolutely incredible. I had a smile on my face. I really had to think about it for a minute after I watched it because there was a lot going on in the movie, and it moves fast, and it is just like you're into this movie, you're into this world, you're going with it, you're going with the flow. All these characters are great. I mean, I absolutely love the dynamic between Lois and Clark. I thought the relationship of that was very, very well handled. I was happy to see that they allowed romance. I was happy to see that they actually allowed women to look like women. You know what I mean? It's a lot of today's movies and stuff. Women are kind of covered up and not allowed to be sexy. And this, women were allowed to be sexy. Women were allowed to be women. Men were allowed to be men. As far as I'm concerned, I loved the Maul and Paul Kent. They were probably two of my favorites in this movie. I absolutely loved them because they reminded me of like my family. Mom and Paul Kent reminded me of like people I know in my family, my mother, my father, my aunts, my uncles. So I know people like them. Coming from a southern rural area myself, so I really enjoyed them. I loved seeing the Hall of Justice in the movie because it's filmed at the Cincinnati Museum Center, and I've been to the Cincinnati Museum Center multiple times coming from that area. So that was really cool to actually see that in the big screen on the theater. I thought Guy Gardner, Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner was awesome. I loved him. He was hysterical. He was awesome. He really brought something to this. I mean, you would have to say, as much as maybe I didn't like Mr. Terrific much, but Mr. Terrific and Guy Gardner were probably the two standouts outside of Lex, Superman, and Lois. And even I would say even Jimmy Olsen was a standout. I really liked sort of what they did with him. It's a more funnier, like cooler Jimmy Olsen, but also still the nerdier Jimmy Olsen that we love. It was a really great, well, the way they did him. And I have to give it to Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. I really think he steals pretty much every scene he's in. He is an incredible Lex Luthor. Just absolutely great. I loved his performance, and I loved his and David Cornsweet's back and forth between each other. It really gave you the Lex and Superman dynamic. You know what I mean? Like you read about in the comics and stuff. It really gave you that dynamic. But it was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. It took me a minute, I had to think about it. I didn't want to just rush in to say what I wanted to say about the movie. I wanted to take my time, think about it, and think about what I really enjoyed about the movie, and think about some of the things that were nitpicking at me, because I don't want to nitpick the movie to death, right? Because this movie, I will be honest, this movie is going to be divisive. I do not think it's woke. I do not think it is political for one side or the other side. If you want to see those things in this movie, you probably will see those things in this movie, but I don't think it is. I think the stuff being made about him being an alien immigrant and truth, justice, and human way are kind of overblown, because that's not even said in the movie. Truth, justice, and human way is not even mentioned in the movie at all. At all. It's not really about Superman being an illegal alien immigrant at all. That's not even like the plot of the movie. That has really nothing to do with the movie whatsoever. But I will say some of the humor landed, some of the humor didn't land. But all in all, it's a feel good Superman. It's a Superman movie. It feels like a Superman movie. It feels like something you wanted to see as a kid. I do think this is going to be much more family oriented and friendly, and I had no problem with that whatsoever. They're just I had just like my few nitpicks with things here and there. My biggest nitpick is the lore breaking element with Jor-El and Laura. I hope that is addressed. But other than that, I would love to see more of Lois and Superman and Clark and the whole gang at the Daily Planet and the next adventures of what's going to come. I love the world that they created in this DCU world. I loved it. You know what I mean? I loved it. It was a fun movie. I had a good time, and as a Superman fan, it's something I could ask for. It's not Christopher Reeve. I think Christopher Reeve's movies are the best Superman version so far. I actually thought it was better than Man of Steel. I know some people's going to get mad at that, but I did. I thought it was better than Man of Steel. I thought it was the Superman movie you wanted to see, and it did what it needed to do for the DCU universe to set it up. It does need a little work, but I think it's in a good place. I enjoyed it, and I'm glad I got to see it, and I'm glad I'm getting to make a video on it, and I hope you guys enjoy this review, and let me know what you guys think about this review, and if you're going to see the movie, or if you've seen the movie, and your thoughts about the movie after you see the movie in the comment section down below. And if you liked what you saw here, maybe consider hitting that like button or subscribing, hit that bell for notifications. That'd be awesome if I earn you guys subscriptions, or possibly share the video out for everybody to see, or join and become a channel member, because that would help on my channel immensely. Thank you, and shout out to all my channel members. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you guys for being channel members here, and for all of your support. To everybody watching, whether you liked me, hated me, or liked this video, or hated this video, I thank you for sticking this long wherever you all are. Please have a great, safe, happy, healthy day, morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Always support physical media, because it truly is the superior format now more than ever. Look up, and Godspeed.